And good morning, everybody. Ooh, that music's a little loud. There we go. How is everybody today? It looks like the raid is starting already. Excellent. Good morning, everybody. Hello, Shy. Thank you for the raid. And let's get started. So, how is everybody doing this morning? Good morning, Infinite Bob. Yes, that was Infinite Bob there for a second. Still getting myself together. These Thursday morning ones, when I start a half hour early, I'm still kind of getting my schedule together, and have not consumed enough coffee yet. So, but here we are now. Okay, let's get started. I have a few things to do today. Today is my adventuring day, and my challenge for the whole day is going to be to put together a first level encounter or a first level adventure for my gaming groups, the first of which meets tonight, so I have to get something done today. And I am literally starting from scratch this morning, so that will be fun. Before I start on that, I do want to make a couple of quick announcements or comments about the Synergasia project, which Kahuna the Elder and myself have undertaken. If you've been on my streams or his streams earlier this week, you've heard about this, I'm sure. I did want to make one important announcement. One of the things that came up when we first talked about it and we introduced this wonderful map of all of the different regions that contributors or collaborators or you folks could grab hold of. We mentioned that the world has two moons, and somebody, at least one person, asked, "Can we colonize or occupy the moons?" And our first answer at the time was no. We hadn't really thought of that, but then we went back and did think about it. So I would like to announce that as of now, any of you, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be sci-fi writers, but if there is anybody interested in placing your region on one of the two moons, that is a possibility. And to that end, we've added a couple of artifacts to the world homepage. One of them is still in the process of being added, but I will show it to you in a second. You will see that in addition to the map of the world itself, we do have now maps of the two moons, and I do want to talk about them very, very quickly. And again, this isn't necessarily just for sci-fi folk. If you want to create a fantasy race of non-human beings or even human beings that somehow live on one of these two alternate worlds, then you're more than welcome to take a shot at that. The first moon is Syntrophos, which is approximate Greek for companion or sidekick or helper, or not helper, but companion, sidekick, kind of friend, that sort of thing. It is a barren, airless planet, or a moon rather. It is barren and airless, pockmarked with craters, very rich in iron, and open for colonization. The larger yellow moon that is in the sky of Synergasia is named Voithos, which is, again, rough approximate Greek for assistant or aid or helper. This one does have an atmosphere, but it is a sulfur world. Think similar to Earth, except where we have water vapor and where we have water oceans and seas and water rivers and water-based rain and snow and water vapor is part of the atmosphere, they have sulfuric acid. All right, so the clouds are sulfur. The air is, the seas and lakes are running sulfuric acid. Um, to the sci-fi nuts out there, this is actually a legitimate, anticipated type of world found in our galaxy. There are estimated to be billions of them, and they are estimated to be capable of life sustaining. It would have to be life that developed based on sulfuric acid as a solvent instead of water, but it can exist in both plant and animal form. So again, this could be a place of colonization, or it could be a place where some completely new and interesting race of beings may have established a foothold, or may have naturally evolved here and developed the civilization. All of those things are possibilities that we're hoping one or two of you folks will take a shot at introducing. There is more information available. This article will be up on the World homepage today. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to actually show the article. Now I've got to wait. I'm not going to read the whole article for you, but I'm going to just skim through it. Oh, it is going to be one of those days. Okay. Let's try this again now. I would like to view you, please. Riku, you're drawing some stuff for your world. Good to get started. For your own world, or for your piece of Synergasia, because Riku is one of our contestants, or contributors, I should say, not contestants. There's no contest. There's no prizes. There's no awards. That we, at least not that we have planned. We'll have to see what happens as we go. So anyway, again, here's a quick image. You got a cover that shows the surfaces of the two planets, or the two moons. I keep saying planets. And again, we have a quick description here of what you can find, and what the day-night cycle is like, what kind of resources or whatever you could expect to find. Again, this is the skeleton that we provide. Who or what you put here would be entirely up to you if you decide you want to take a shot at it. We do add one additional ground rule, though, that's important, and it's in keeping with the spirit of Synergasia itself, and that is, if you do choose to site yourself on one of the moons, you are isolated to that moon. You can't include transport back and forth to the planet. This is not like an extra where you get a piece of the planet and a piece of the moon. It's one or the other. For whatever reason, you are cut off. The article goes into a little explanation of how these cutoffs are going to work, and they actually hint at how the cutoffs between the time eras on Synergasia itself are going to work. But again, anybody who does want to try setting up on the moons instead of on the planet is welcome to. So that's even more options for our creative people out there. What do we have here? Makaru, side note, I really should get my tech combo working. Twitch through TV browser fails sound-wise. And you're failing to get sound working. Yeah. Twitch isn't the friendliest of apps I've found. Riku, yeah, for your own world, Synergasia must wait a little while. Yeah, there's no rush to start on Synergasia. Again, we're not really We're not really going to officially start for another almost 2 weeks, so a week and a half. So let's see, Isaac. I feel like since I was leaning towards sci-fi, I should include moon colonies. But the method I came up with to limit the tech to my region to prevent conflict with the Bronze Age would prevent space flight. Yeah, exactly. Though it's not an issue. If you want to, you basically get an opportunity to, in your case, take a stab at a whole new genre. And again, and there's two ways to go. It could be an abandoned colony from a planet, or for whatever reason is cut off. And if you do take that route, by the way, if you take the route that this was a colonization effort from somewhere else, we will leave it to you to include in the canon of your piece why it is you're cut off. We'll explain the kind of why you are going to continue to be cut off, but if you want to explain, why a colony was abandoned here, or it was a one-way plan in the first place, or whatever, that's entirely up to you to include in your own world description. Or again, the other option is to actually, design or build around a race that developed here in the first place. What would sulfuric acid-based life forms look like? Intelligent sulfuric acid life forms. So there's lots of different ways to play, and of course you could set up the colony that encounters intelligent or semi-intelligent native life forms on this planet, and not to shortchange the airless world. There may very well be indigenous life that develop underground on that world as well. So the sky, no pun intended, but the sky is literally the limit, and it's entirely up to you folks. Isaac, I'm not that well versed in science, so it might be safer to stick to the magic techie planet side. Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to do. Um, by the way, magic remains a possibility on the moons as well. One of the first prompts you'll get will be to ask you to decide how important magic is to your world. Magic will be possible in any or every realm. What you do with that possibility is up to you. So we're not really putting any restrictions on that either. Yeah, and again, you'll see that in September as we start releasing our first couple of prompts will be designed to help you finish putting the bones on the skeleton of your world. And then after that, we'll start getting into the fun and interesting stuff. So that's enough about Synergasia for today. I'm gonna shut these down for now, and I will be getting back to my world, but I might actually not be starting. I don't think I'm going to be starting in World Anvil, at least not first thing, because I need to come up with, as I mentioned earlier, what I'm going to throw at my player groups, starting with my test group of 5 characters that is meeting tonight. And when I woke up this morning, I had exactly 0 idea of what sort of encounter they're going to have. So I need to go from 0 to ready to play by, what do I have? 8, 11 hours, 10 hours. 10 hours to get that done. So you're all going to get a chance to experience my method for building encounters. I need to do one more piece of lookup. I've been working on I need to change this too. I'm working on developing a couple of spreadsheets that help me do this. And again, for those of you who are not fully familiar, I'm building in the using the Pathfinder 2 basic rule set. and they have some guidelines and recommendations for building encounters, or for building adventure arcs, I should say, that are based on an experience point budget system. So I'll be going through that and explaining it. Good morning, coffee. How's it going? Before you hit hydrate or caffeinate, here we go. There it is. Oh, you've made my stream once or twice, coffee. This isn't the first time. Um, so I need to get one more thing pulled out of the um, player guide, because I need to just finish up one little thing in the spreadsheet. And core rulebook by chapter, game mastering. Again, the PF2 core rulebook gives an excellent guide for designing player character encounters based on a PC budget. I imagine this method could be adopted to 5e as well. Some of the mechanics are a little different and would have to be handled. Rabbit Candy Void, good morning. There's another one of our Synergasia participants. We'll stand by. There might be more announcements all during the week, by the way, about Synergasia. Again, Kahuna and I have been spending a lot of time, thinking and planning about how we're gonna make this all happen. And we're hoping for lots and lots of participants. So I know a few people out there are working on their submissions for us. And there's no rush. We still have, like I said, another week and a half. And they don't have to be perfect. They just need to let us know where to place you. So what I'm looking for in here is there's a couple of tables on building encounters. That I must have flown right over. So let's try again. Yes, this is the one I was looking for. So I just want to put a few more lines in here. I've got low. I want to include a trivial, just so I know what's available. Those are probably okay. It was 10 or less, so that'll be fine. Low, moderate, severe, extreme. I think I have low, moderate, severe, yeah. And we'll put extreme in here just so we see what the limit is. And an extreme is 160 and 40 a pop. Okay. And the way this works is that would be 80 because it's 2 more characters. Okay. So the way this works, now I don't need that anymore. I need to be very cautious about how many things I keep open and how much memory buffer I keep consuming if I want to survive the stream. Zoom meeting schedule, time to finish, Twitch panels. Oh, you're playing with Twitch panels this morning, Coffee. Excellent. What do we have hiding back here? Yeah, I can put you away for now. What are you doing? What are you? I don't know what you are. I don't want to care what you are. Okay. So the way this basically works is creatures get experience points. Actually, I am going to need that table back. I am going to need that book back. Creatures have levels. All right, PF2 doesn't use the challenge rating system that 5e uses. They give creatures specific levels, but the experience points that a party earns from defeating a creature is based not specifically on the creature itself, but on the difference in level between the creature and the party. So, a troll, for example, to a bunch of first level parties would be a very difficult encounter and be worth a lot of experience points. A troll to a bunch of level 20 characters would be a trivial a trivial thing that might be worth few or none, or practically no experience at all. So everything is based on scaling or on comparing the level of the threat to the level of the party. And that's the base numbers that you see that they provide are the ones that are in this column here, the party of 4 size numbers. And then they also provide you, if you have more people or less in a party, you make adjustments to that budget by going up or down by a certain amount. But usually it might be 5 or 10 or 20 or 15. So anyway, this allows me to decide what the experience point budget is that I need. What kind of creatures do I need to throw at them to achieve a certain level? Now, the other thing they do is, in the case of the party of 5, for example, a trivial encounter is going to be worth 40 points per player. All right. If I have a party of 4, then I want to give them 40 experience points worth of creatures in order to earn that. If it's a party of 5, I actually want to give them 50 experience points worth of creatures in order for them to each earn 40. And again, that's just the way the budgeting process works. So what this spreadsheet is designed to let me do is, I'm going to basically lay out what kind of bad guys will they actually face, and there may be, again, right now I just have these all in here as guides. For what the number values are. And in fact, what I might do is make a copy of this just to keep here, because what I'm going to start doing is filling in what the actual adventure consists of. And I might decide I want 2 lows and a moderate, or 2 whatever. The objective then is to end up with a total that is, I'm going to be making some changes to the spreadsheet as I go. I see that. The objective is to end up with a total that hits the total value of the experience points for the adventure that I want to hit. All right, and I want to hit a target of 350 experience points. So this is going to tell me, everybody's going to get to see some magic here. Actually, I need to put in one more column here. 10, 10, 15, 30, 40. Is everybody thrilled with watching Excel stuff? I'm going to take this and throw it over here. Actually, I'm going to keep it down out of the way so I don't do bad things to it by mistake. Threat, base, add-on. Again, the trick with all of this stuff is to keep yourself organized. Column width. We're going to turn that into a reference table. This one is going to be equal to VLOOKUP of that, the base plus the add-on for one. And this one is equal to twice the add-on. And that will allow me to decide as I put in my threat levels what the values, what the totals are going to be. And let's do this. Just so my numbers work out. There we go. Now we have a clean slate. So we save this. How are we doing here? Let's see. I've got the okay for September's event for coffee. Excellent. Okay, so what am I going to throw at my characters? Now it is time for me to start thinking about what kind of critters I'm going to hit them with. And to do that, I will consult the ever-popular monster manuals, or the bestiaries, as they are called here. Did I not bring back up the game mastering? Because there is one other thing I need to look at and have handy, and that is to go along with this table, which you saw me incorporate. I need this table, and this is the one where again the experience point value of the bad guys is translated into how many experience points they actually get. So we have a -4 and it's 10. minus 3 is 15, minus 2, 20, minus 1 is 30, 0 is 40, 1 is 60, 2 is 80, 3 is 120, and 4 is 160. And just so I have some reference notes, and yes, I know there's easier ways to do this, but this is, since I'm only doing it once. I can just do it this way. Oh, let's try that again. And almost done. What I should have done was started a sprint for you folks. Are you folks interested in doing sprints? Is anybody out there writing, or is everybody just chilling? I'll be happy to launch a sprint timer if anybody wants it or needs it. Okay, I can get rid of this stuff now. Working but not writing at the moment. Also working. Yeah, I've kind of found that a lot of the people that catch me on my chats. Well, Hefe, good morning. Adding a tool to the writing toolbox. Yeah, a lot of the people that catch me are either lurking while working, or just waking up, depending on where in the world you happen to be. So I don't get a lot of call for sprints. I can throw on the timer though. Yeah, I will do that very shortly. Just explaining the again, the approach now is, and I do have some other things built into this table already that I can show you. Where is it here? I've started to put together. Actually, that's all my gremlins. But if I put together, do I have it here someplace? No, I guess it's not. It's here. That's something specific. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I started. Maybe I only thought about it. But what I need to do is, again, I know the party level is a level 1. So I need to know, if I'm going to create a critter, what level they are. And then based on that, that'll tell me which, where they fall on this table. And that in turn will let me decide what to put in here. So just for an example, if I wanted to create a trivial threat, or let's say a low-level threat for a party of 4, then I need to come up with 60 experience points worth of enemies. Now, looking down here, I could do that by throwing 3 things at them that are 2 levels below them, or 2 things at them that are 1 level below them, or 1 thing at them that is as much as 1 level above them to get to 60. So knowing that, and knowing their first level, if I wanted to again to hit the party of first level characters, I want to I can either hit them with a second level threat, or a couple of first level threats, or 3 negative, -1 level threats, and that's the lowest the bestiaries go. And that would give me a low threat encounter. That would be an encounter that they shouldn't have to use too many resources to get through. That should be an easy fight. Their good, random encounter type stuff is good at that level. Moderate encounters, again, they should be easy for the party to win, but it'll cost them some of their resources. And when I say resources, I mean, of course, like especially spell slots for the casters and that sort of thing. Once you get into severe and extreme, severe should be winnable, but it will cost, but the party probably wants to go in fresh and will probably come out spent. All right, and damaged and bruised, and so forth. Extreme is where you start getting into the total party kill zone. All right, so you want to be real careful with the extremes. You don't want to throw too many of those out. Again, if a party goes in fully refreshed and ready, the extreme should be doable, but it would be very difficult. And in this case, again, that would mean in the case of a party of 4 first level characters, if I hit them with a 5th level character, we're right off the bat into the extreme level. So if we look at the bestiaries to see, for example, what that means, if I jump down here to the 5th levels, I could throw a basilisk at them, and it could very well wipe them out. I could throw an ether spider or a flame drake or whatever at them, 1 harpy, and it would probably wipe them out. Now if I throw, so the severe would be 3, so if I move down a chunk on that table, that's interesting. One good mimic should be a severe threat to a first level party. I'll have to keep that one in mind. 1 very skilled hobgoblin archer. Again, to those D&D history people, you'd think of hobgoblins as low-level, easy-to-kill things. They've definitely moved things around in the bestiaries in Pathfinder. The Green Hag is only a 4th level creature. I can tell you, coming from 2nd edition, the weakest hags are much higher level than that. So that's an adjustment that I've been learning to make as I go along here too. So anyway, what I'd like to do now it comes to the point where I need to figure out what I want my adventure to look like. All right, and I probably want to have some sort of quote-unquote random encounter. I like to throw one of those at them early to warm them up. And then we follow it on with a couple of, at least 2, probably 3 actual encounters that that involve solving whatever the current mystery, issue, problem, whatever is. And I could mix those up. The random might not be first; it might be somewhere else. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is, besides combat type experience point contributions to this, I also have the ability to throw in just other things, and they could just be goals. Successfully finding something that's hidden in a room might be worth another 10 or 20 experience points. Again, my objective is to ultimately end up between encounters and between non-encounter rewards, coming up with a total of 350, and once I've done that, then I know I have my adventure ready to go. And then it's just a matter of writing all of the scripting for it. So what can I throw at them? All right. They're first level, so I don't get an awful lot of choices. But let's say I want to hit them with a low level. You know what, actually, the last adventure I started them off with a low level random encounter. Let's start them off different this time. This won't actually be a random. This is going to be... I don't know what it's going to be yet, so we're just going to call it Encounter 1. And let's go for a moderate. Alright, now ultimately, by the way, the group I'm planning for tonight is 5 players. So the other thing I'll be looking at here is if I set my base of 4, what do I have to add to it to make it 5? You know, to make it interesting for 5. Because for 5 I need to come up with a total of 95. What that usually means is adding an extra low level or whatever, or something to that effect. So keeping that in mind, if I want to hit 80, I probably want to be playing with okay, this might work. Alright. I could probably start them with two equal level creatures. And then for the add-on, I need to give them something that's weaker. So I need to be careful with the add-on. Either that or the higher level group is going to get one that's boosted up a little bit. And there's ways to do that in Pathfinder too. There's ways to make things. You can strengthen or weaken a creature. There's like almost a formula guide for it. In fact, if I was using which I'm not yet, using there are websites out there that'll actually kind of do a lot of the math for me, which I will be getting set up for once I get my whole new system put together. I'm trying not to spend huge amounts of time setting things up on a machine that I'm going to replace. Oh, so let's start with 2 critters that are the same level as the party. So what do I have available to me at level 1 that they could meet in a forest or a swamp? And I have 2 books to look at, by the way. So, a giant cockroach. There we go. Giant frog's a possibility. I could go with Grippleys, maybe. Actually, I think I was going to aim in this direction. Let's look at boggards. Yeah, this is what I had in mind. Okay, so 2 boggard scouts should be a moderate encounter, right? Because they're the same level, so they're 40 each, so 2 of them would be 80. And I put some little notes in here so I can find them when I need to. Now, what do I give them as an add-on for the group of 5? And for the group of 6, I can add another 30. So that one is probably going to be 3 boggard scouts. 1 week. Now the question is, what do I give these guys? I could give them, do I give them 2 weak ones? If I give them 2 weak ones, and a strong one, that would be 30, 60, 100, which is close to 95. So that's, we can do that. All right, so we can do it that way. Okay, so we know that. So what does that tell me about the adventure? They're walking through the forest. They get to the swamp. Actually, they're going to be walking to the forest along a river. And they don't even have to get to the swamp yet. Encounter Boggart scouting party. All right, so that starts to formulate. And again, I've had some ideas. This isn't all just completely at random. But hello, James, back from your appointment. Good. Yeah, I've started to put together some ideas here. They need to get. Ultimately, here's my long-term plan for this adventure. Let me see if I can bring this up without torturing things. If I come into my maps, and I look at my Feywood map, which, by the way, once I get my new machine up and running, oh, I love when it does that. Let's try that again. Okay, it did bring up the right one. I need to redraft this whole map once I get my new machine up and running and everything's going. So anyway, the party is here at the Bugbear's Head Inn, which is a roadside inn in the middle of a forest on a road that, as you can see, connects a few major, well, not major, but a village of Faybridge, the human village of Faybridge crossing up here, the halfling village of Spudbarrow down here. There's a larger settlement farther down the road. These areas here that are not swamp, they're like farmlandy kind of things. When the party is, most of their second level is going to be spent up around here in investigating problems that are going on in the forest that seem to have a root in the village of Spirit Lake. So I need to basically, I think this adventure is going to involve getting them there, and along the way having them also discover a few interesting things that they could come back to in the future, you know, or possibly a clue or two that will lead up to their second level adventure arc. So they could take the roads and go all the way around that way, but for reasons, I'm going to convince them to actually take the more direct route, shall we say. So the assumption is they're going to follow this stream. They're going to enter. This is a marshy area where there are lizard folk tribes living that are themselves neutral. You know, that they may in fact befriend. That would be important, in fact, in the future if they did. But the lizard folk themselves have some issues, and the boggards are one of them. The boggards are little nastier creatures, and there's stuff going on. So anywhere along here, very early on in the adventure, they could encounter a boggard scouting party. And in fact, what I may have them do is most of this one might actually center around just getting as far as the fens and encountering things in there that have to do with the boggards and their fight with the lizard men or with the lizard folk, and maybe again even becoming at least known to, if not friendly with, those lizard folk. My wires are connecting or grabbing me on things here. So I think that's the approach I'm going to take. The other thing I'm trying to do is introduce them to all the different kinds of things that live in the Feywood. So this would go a good way toward introducing them to all the different things that live in the fens and the swamps. And there's some interesting other things in the swamps that they'll come back to in time. So I think we'll take that approach. So I can explain again. They're going along the river. They encounter a boggard patrol, and they deal with the boggard patrol. Then going forward a little bit further, they are going to get into the fens itself. I could have them. It would probably be a moderate or a severe encounter. One of the creatures I created in summer camp was a variant of an alligator that lives in let's see, if crocodiles are only level 2, then those things were only level 3. So a level 3 critter. Here's where we get to use summer camp stuff. A level 3 critter would be a moderate encounter all by itself, so that would actually work. Alright, so we're going to throw in, and I might reorder these things, again, but they could encounter a homebrew character called a sleeper jaw, which is basically a crocodile that spits a neurotoxin poison that basically kind of stupefies the anything it hits. Doesn't put them to sleep, doesn't exactly paralyze them, but it just kind of completely stuns and dopes them out, so that they just kind of sit there and you just kind of sit there and wait to get eaten, basically. So I could do that. One of those alone would be good. I need to get to 110 for the other guys, though, and 95. And he's already 80. So, since this one was a little high, this one will probably just be a little low. And we'll just leave it at that. And this one will probably be a slightly beefed up one. I might give this guy just a few more hit points too to make him interesting, but that would be basically it. Alright, so now I have 2 encounters, and time to fix this formula. Alright, and we can see we're part way along the way here. Here's where we're going to put in, just again, we're going to give a non-combat objective. They will encounter a lizard folk village. If they play their cards right, they might get some bonus points for making friends there. Or they could just ignore it and go around it, in which case they won't make bonus points for making friends there. But if they do make friends there, that'll matter to them in the future. Of course, they won't necessarily know that. Now, what do we want to do? We do need to hit a severe or a good serious one in here someplace. So let's throw a severe. Let's just see what it will look like. And since the bad guys that we're dealing with are boggards, how are we going to come up with 120 experience points worth of boggard? We know that one boggard scout is 40 points. So I could just have them hit 3 of them. But that seems boring. But there's more, there's other choices. There are boggard warriors. And boggard warriors are level 2 creatures, which means they're 1 higher, which means they're worth 60 each. So 2 boggard warriors will fit the bill for a party of 4. And what's interesting is I can now go with 2 1 week scout. And these don't have to be weak at all. Ooh. So even for my party of 6 group, this could be interesting because they're going to come across 3 scouts and they're going to deal with them. All right, they're not going to realize, of course, that one of them was weaker than normal anyway, and the other ones are just scouts. The next time they encounter boggards, they're going to encounter 3 more, and they're going to say, "Oh, well, we took care of the first group easily," and the second group is going to take them to task. And this is good because it teaches lack of that complacency is a bad thing. Yeah, we can ignore that. Now you'll notice I do have other choices here. I could throw a boggard swamp seer, and I might in another encounter. Now we'll start introducing them to a 3rd level spellcasting boggard. But if I did that, that critter himself is worth 80 experience points. So if I did that, just by itself, it would be a moderate. And we're getting up into the range I want. Now I could give this one another severe and really test them. But now we're getting up to more than I need. So let's do a mod. If I did a moderate, see, that's right about where I want to be target-wise. I don't mind being a little high on this one, by the way, because they're going to level on this adventure. And I might actually have to tone something down, knock one of these down to a trivial. But if I did this, the question is, why are they running into one all by themselves? What am I looking for here? This is what I'm looking for. Why would there be one swamp seer with far too many E's in its name? Okay, party, help me out, or chat, help me out here. Why would there be a scouting party, a warrior party, and then just a single critter threat? How would I justify this? Obviously, the single critter is most likely a leader, you know, or like a tribe leader, or a clan or family leader, or something. Yeah, the warrior party would be following the scouting party. That makes sense. But assuming they defeat them, it's not like they'd be coming into a whole village of these things. They would be, this one guy is following along behind them. Um, how do I explain that? Because if I can't give him any helpers really, I might be able to give him some helpers for the larger party. But I have the reason I have this party of 4, 5, and 6, by the way, is because I have 3 play groups that are running through all these things, and one of them is a party of 4, one is a party of 5, and one is a party of 6. Oh, that's good. They could be chasing maybe the Swamp Seer is a renegade or a rogue, and the other groups are trying to track it down. That's possible, but then the question could be that now. Then the question though becomes, what did it do that was wrong, and does that make him a potential ally that they could befriend? Ooh, this might work. Let's do a little quick research on what we think of boggards. All right, normally they are evil, nasty. All right. Again, I'm trying to avoid the automatic branding of all races, even creature races, automatically being evil unless they're demons or devils. Aggressive humanoid amphibians thrive in swim. Okay. They prefer to dwell in swamplands and mires. Home in the water. Okay. So what we could be talking about here is we could be talking about a very territorial. Maybe I mean I could have them meet. I could have them meet the. They don't have to be in this order. So I could actually have them meet the Swamp Seer first, and deal with it or take care of it. One of the sleeper jaws are a courier and religious relic the courier was bringing. Oh, the sleeper jaws are just nasty on their own. But let's see. Could be something they did wrong. Could be something the people thought they did wrong. I mean, it could be. Yeah, the Swamp Seer himself might be the one. He might be trying to befriend somebody that the others don't want to befriend. I could have them encounter the Swamp Seer, and have an option for maybe he's not the enemy. That might be interesting. Of course, if they get silly. Maybe they encounter the scouts first and somehow manage to find out that the scouts are looking for a renegade. And what language do these things speak? Oh, they do speak common. Excellent. Okay. So maybe they encounter the scouts first. If they give the scouts a chance to talk, they could find out that they're looking for this renegade who, in the scout's mind, might be, they might explain that, he's about to do something terrible or horrible, or, he's going to be real nasty, and we need to catch him and find him, which would put them on their guard when they encounter the Swamp Seer. But the Swamp Seer might in fact be trying to do something not necessarily horrible and nasty, just horrible and nasty in the minds of the boggards. Like, for example, making friends with the lizard folk, or making friends with the humans and elves that live in the rest of the forest. I mean, it might be something as simple as that. Yeah, he might be carrying something. There's not so. There's. I don't want to get too carried away with treasure rewards here either. Those I've already decided are allocated. By the way, I just have to figure out how to explain them. And that's one of the reasons the sleeper draw is there. Sleeper draws can they can have all kinds of good debris lying around their lairs from prior meals. Okay, this is starting to take shape. Again, what do I do with the Swamp Seer to boost him up? Probably. See, this is the nice thing about being a DM. I can probably just strengthen him a little bit there. And strengthen him full time here. He's a spellcaster, so I can always raise a level, give him an extra level of spells, or give him some extra abilities there. So now, what we're actually talking about, I think, is we want him to encounter the scouts first. We want to encounter. Oh, okay. This might be okay. This could be interesting. They encounter the scouts first. All right. They're probably going to end up in a fight with the scouts, but hopefully the scouts will get them information that they're looking for this swamp. This renegade. That'll put them on the lookout for the renegade. They'll encounter the renegade, and they'll either attack it, in which case, oh well. Or they'll find out that the renegade really is doing something good, which in turn means the sleeper draw fight might end up disappearing. We'll see. Maybe this isn't befriend the lizard folk. This is this becomes an alternative. Instead of defeating the Swamp Seer, this becomes an alternative reward. And we'll say 40 points to befriend the Swamp Seer, and then that would be another 40 points, but those are alternatives, so they wouldn't happen. Just so I can keep my numbers right here. I'm going to put some numbers off on the side here. And take them out of there for a minute just to see. Okay, that would be perfect. Okay, we got something here. So they encounter the scouts. They fight with the scouts. Hopefully, they find out about the Swamp Seer. If they do, then they're on the lookout for the Swamp Seer and think that they need to be afraid of it. So they eventually encounter the Swamp Seer. They're going to get into a fight one way or the other, but the Swamp Seer won't be trying to just wipe them out. The Swamp Seer might very well be trying to de-escalate. If the party allows things to de-escalate and they at least stop fighting the Swamp Seer, then that alone will get them half the experience points, for making a nice decision. If they then hear the Swamp Seer out and decide his mission is a good one and help him with it, they'll get the rest of the experience points for the quote-unquote Swamp Seer encounter, and therefore have enough to, basically it makes up for not killing them. in an experience point sense. It gives them a full opportunity to get the full benefit of the encounter experience. Then along the way, and this is where the sleeper draw comes in. If they don't do that, so here's the other thing. I do need them to come up with a total of about 360 experience, 350, 360, because I want them to level at the end of this. So this may be where the sleeper draws come in. The sleeper draw encounters. There might be more than one because they might just be alternate experience point options. Once let's say they befriended the swamp seer, or whatever. After they've dealt with the swamp seer in whatever method, they will at some point come across the warriors. And the warriors won't be quite necessarily as willing to talk as the scouts were. If they're with the swamp seer, they will certainly be attacked. If they are not with the swamp seer, they're still going to get attacked, and they'll have to deal with the warriors because the warriors don't want humans and halflings in their territory anyway. So even though they're out looking for somebody, they're also still fighters. They're still warriors defending their village, or which is somewhere else in which they're not necessarily going to get to. The party isn't going to get to. All right, so we can deal with the warriors, and that way, that warrior encounter becomes the major encounter of the session. If they've befriended the swamp seer and now they've defeated the warriors, they can go on to help the swamp seer do whatever it is he's doing. They can, and I think again that will probably involve getting to a lizard folk village that's deeper in the swamp, and then they can start fresh with finishing their journey and getting into the next big encounter arc that's going to run for their second level. If they don't have the swamp seer with them, then they will still have to fight the warriors. They will still be on their way to they'll have no choice but to end up in the lizard folk village for the end of the session. If they just send the swamp seer on his way and don't befriend him, then they're going to get hit with another sleeper draw. Either way, they're going to get hit with one, which may be before or after the swamp seer. Or may even be before the scouts. In fact, So we have so sleeper draw. This one is optional. And this one will only actually happen if it needs to. That way, if I take that out, if they do everything else right, they'll have all the experience they need. If they don't do everything else right, then they're going to get an extra sleeper draw so that they can get to the experience they need. How does that sound? Does that sound like it'll work? Whoa. Let's see, a couple of hydrates. A posture check, which is not a bad idea. a caffeinate, which is always a good idea. And coffee is heading off to bed, but not before saying, sounds like a plan and it should work. Okay, so I think that's how this is going to work. So what did we say? We're going walking through the forest along the river. Encounter enter swamp. Encounter sleeper draw. And I might actually downgrade that one to just a normal crocodile. I'll have to think. I'll think about that a little bit. The first one might just be a normal crocodile, because again, that's always fun. The first one they come to is a crocodile, and okay, it's nasty if you get in the water with it, but other than that, it's pretty easy to defeat. And then when they come across the second one, surprise, surprise, it spits something at one of them, and all of a sudden that one is out of the fight. I like to do things like that as a DM. I'm devious. So that's a possibility. I might make the first one just a crocodile. If the first one is a crocodile, then that would knock it down to being I think just a +2 level. Right? Where's crocodiles? They're only one higher, which means they're only a 60, so that would knock that one down to a low. Let's do that. And actually it'll be an alligator, but it's the same. Actually, I could get these guys with the sleeper draw right off the bat. That might be even better. Yeah, we'll give these guys a sleeper draw there. Give these a slightly stronger alligator. Give them an alligator. So, enter swamp, encounter alligator. Encounter boggard scouting party. About renegade. Then they will encounter the swamp seer. From here, they could either befriend and help the swamp seer. They could kill the swamp seer, or they could I'm going to call it ignore the swamp seer. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, they're going to encounter it one way or the other, but for now, ignore simply means they at the end of the encounter, the swamp seer is alive and going its separate way, not with the party. So if they befriend the swamp seer and offer to help the swamp seer, then they're going to be on track for getting all the experience they need from the adventure. All we need to do then is throw the boggard warriors at them to deal with. Now, what I might do, because in this group because they have the Swamp Seer with them, I might even add a warrior at this point, and have the Swamp Seer kind of help them in the fight. And just DM kind of just tone it down a little bit so that they're so that it becomes a more exciting or interesting fight. Here they're going to have the warriors, but before they do, well, again, the Swamp Seer will have gone down fighting, so they have the experience they need. This is the one where they're going to get the Sleeper Jaw thrown in there too. So this one might actually be, I guess I could just throw an extra warrior or two in, with the expectation that the Swamp Seer will handle the extra ones, so that the actual threat to the party is the same, but it'll just look scarier. So I might be able to deal with that way. I'll have to do a little thinking about that. This is getting complicated, but that's okay. So, all right, I now have a layout for my whole adventure. All right, it may be time to actually start turning that into something in World Anvil, so I can start thinking about it. So I think I could do that. I'm going to just do a quick copy of that. And now let's jump into World Anvil. And let's come back to... Actually, I want my dashboard. And I need a plot. Okay, and now is as good. Now is an excellent time for a sprint. So again, anybody who's out there who wants to be doing stuff, I'm going to throw up a 10-minute timer, and I'm going to see if I can at least turn this idea into something that resembles something in a plot article. And we'll see what it looks like after 10 minutes. As usual, again, I won't see the end of the timer, so if anybody in chat wants to help me out when the timer runs out on your screen, just throw a quick time's up message in the chat so that I can see it if I'm not paying attention, because I have nothing on my screen that lets me see it. I'm stuck to a single monitor, and right now it's occupied with the whole World Anvil screen. So we will get started in 3, 2, 1, and go. Let me just throw that down there, by the way, before I forget it. What are we going to call this? This name is going to change, but this is the whole adventure. So what kind of adventure is this? I'm going to call it Delivering. Although it's a combination of collecting and delivering. No, we're going to call the overarching one Discovery. This is still an other. This is not part of any master plot yet. And these are still all just henchmen. Nothing specific there. Learn about more. Again, my main objective for the first level adventures here is actually for the characters to oh, look at that. This looks like belongs here more than there. So what do we expect? List what we expect from this kind of adventure and then work out how. And then work out how you're going to make it different. Continues the theme of other. Say it that way. I'm not worried about names yet. How does the outcome change my master plot? It doesn't. So, I don't. By the way, a lot of these things are kind of hard built into a certain mindset for what an adventure encounter looks like, and they're good ideas, but they don't always fit exactly. So, okay, and this is an adventure, a full adventure. This one doesn't have a parent plot. Here's where I do this. I don't know what the lizard. Haven't figured out what the swamp seer has got with them. Whether it's something physical or an offer of peace or something like that. It might very well be some sort of token or monument. Ooh, this works. With a relic. So maybe the Boggart Swamp Seer is just trying to bring it back to the lizard folk, or we bring it to the lizard folk to ask them what it is or what it does. The Boggarts think he stole it. There we go. We're doing good here. And that, in the long run, introduces the party to the fact that there are ruins of a lizard folk civilization somewhere in this swamp. And yes, there will be dungeons. So I see ticking clock. How much time is left on ticking clock? Let's see. A minute and a half. There we go. So this is good. So it introduces a potential for future. All right. And again, they may not, they may miss that if they just kill things. I do try to discourage murder hobohood. Scene 4. For Renegade, but not happy to see party in their swamp. Settlement. Okay, optional. Okay, so we've laid it out. I'm sure my time is up by now. Is it? Yes, it is. Okay. How did people do? I see Macaro, 100. Is that 100 words? Excellent. Anybody else do anything in the sprint? Let's see, Macaro, complete asides. Did you hear you're not allowed to give Sherlock Holmes feelings or let them actually respect what the Doyle estate argues that those are personality traits that Holmes developed in the non-public domain book, so any book or movie with those traits has to pay them. With those traits. Interesting. Well, it's all about the money. And authors, even long after their death, one of the problems, I guess, of developing a memorable and timeless character is that somebody will continue to own that character. And there's not a lot you can do about it. So, okay, I have got a good start here. Again, I'm not too worried about themes. Actually, you know what? Let's put some interesting things in here. They're not exactly themes, but this also comes back up into the what should the party learn, or what must the players learn. Let's put this in here, in fact. Learn every bad creature in the So, themes or cues you inject into your story to reinforce the feeling of the genre. So, repeated actions, visuals, or events. I guess the repeated thing here is, the he or she. It might end up being a she swamp seer. I haven't decided that, but so I guess the bottom line theme here is that's really the underlying theme. There are good and bad in every intelligent race or species on this planet. Again, with the exception of anything that has directly to do with demons and devils. If it's one of the normal mortal critter groups or creature groups, if they have some intelligence, there are going to be good ones and there are going to be bad ones. There might be a predominance of one or the other, but they can't ever assume that every so-and-so they run across, they could run across a gnoll that turns out to be a friend. They could run across, they will certainly run across ogres and even some giants as they go through the levels in the future that aren't automatically out to kill the party or out to kill all humans or out to kill all elves or whatever. However, having said that, they will also come across bands of orcs or giants or whatever that are out to kill all dwarves or elves or whatever, because that's just the way that particular tribe feels. So the parties need to learn to be on their toes. They can't automatically assume that somebody is good or bad just because they're a whatever. They need to ask questions before shooting. All right, and they also need to look for allies. Those are two of the long-running campaign themes. Shall we say? All right, again, there's good and bad in every race or species. Allies can be found in the least expected places, and they'll find that out again if they befriend the. That's another reason to jack up that encounter with the warriors if they have the Swamp Seer with them, because the Swamp Seer will help them, even though he's fighting quote unquote his own kind. So that'll give them something to think about. Oh, the estate is suing Netflix for the new movie. Interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that works out. Uh, they can try. Um, so let's see, what does this end up looking like? Save. Remember, we're also still experimenting with this plot theme and how to use it, you know, in a game world encounter type situation. Let's see what this thing looks like, though, because I know what the next step is, and I'll start to do that. At least one of them, get one of them done here. And again, I'm still just putting the bones together for all of this. I'm not putting any meat on the bones here yet. I have a feeling I'm going to be doing a lot of putting the meat on the bones in on the fly, and then finalizing it after the fact. But hopefully, I'll get it done before all three of my playgroups go through this thing. All right, so that's nice and compact. And again, this is really just there for informational. The next thing to do in this scheme of how to use these plot templates will be, oh, I guess I could put an overview in here, yeah. The party is asked head toward I'm going to start another sprint when I do this. I'm going to put in, basically I'm going to put in an overview of the whole thing, a little more narrative here. And after that, if I have time in this sprint, you'll see me create another new plot using this adventure phase piece, and that will start to talk about a specific one of the encounters that's involved in the plot. Eventually there will be several of those. They'll all get linked to this, and I'll have a plot story arc that I can attach to the campaign. So James has got somebody is heading out. James is heading out, I guess. Alright, so let's get another sprint started. And 3, 2, 1, go. Now, what's interesting is I'm gonna actually get them started on this adventure with a lure that will have. I mean, ultimately they're trying to get to this village. This is going to have nothing to do with what they actually do along the way, but it gives them a reason for being on the way. And there's why they're going this way. Let's a little more narrative. Swamp. Interesting. Let's just leave it at that. Oh, Daz, round 2 of mini painting. I know you did bunch during. Was it either Siobhan or writer Greg? How are they coming? I wish there was a way you could post pictures here. So let's see what this looks like now. So now I have a summary. So there's actually useful information here. I'm not too worried about this isn't an article for super publication, so I'm not going to be picky about sidebars looking good or not looking good. It's there. It is what it is. Again, I'm sure I'm going to come up with a better title for this than just the boggards, but it will do for now. Alright, so that's done. Now I can start thinking about, again, what are my scenes? Alright, so scene 1 is the alligator encounter. So that means I need a new plot. Actually, you know what? Let's encourage people to use the right tools for the right job. All right, so here I am in this article. All right, and here we are. With my scene layout. So I know I need to create a plot article for each one of those. And again, we'll just give these working titles now. Boggart Scene 1. And we're just going to transfer that line in there. Alright, this is just a draft, but that'll be all I need. So there's one. Looks like I just got hiccuped. Yes, Betty is cursing the non-arrival of my new PC case. Yes, I am. How long was I down for? Yes, what I was hoping was the arrival of my new PC case, which is the last component to arrive. Oh no, it went again. Okay, now I'm back. Okay. As I was saying, yes, I am cursing the non-arrival of my PC case. We had some sort of mystery package that was heading our way that I was hoping was the case, just because its routing history made it look like it was, but it turned out it was not. It was something that somebody in the house had forgotten they had ordered, and lo and behold, it showed up. So I'm back to now, as best I can tell, my case is still sitting on a container ship somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. When it gets off the container ship in Vancouver, it will make its way across the continent to me in New Jersey. And at that point, I will have a working computer capable of completing a stream without disappearing for a while. What I'm trying to do is knock down a few of my memory resources to keep things going. I hear the music just ran out. I'm not surprised at that. I don't think I am going to restart it since we're already in um, let's say threat mode when it comes to getting through the rest of this stream. So now that we've trimmed a few memory resources, let's see if we can get through the rest of this. So what I'm doing again is I'm using the ever popular purple button to create the shells of the articles that I need to do my subplots. Scene 3. Is also a plot. And I'm just transferring this information in. We'll call this one 4B. Right. And then finally, so now we've got that. Okay. The next thing I will do is jump in here. And now that I've got all of those scenes, where's the first Boggart article? Why isn't the first Boggart article up here? Now I'm worried. There it is. What's it doing all the way down there? Okay, what we're going to do now is start to put these together so I can find them. And we're going to do that by giving them tags. What just happened? Oh, that didn't look good, did it? Let's try that again. We're going to give these all tags that say the boggards. Can I list the children? No, I need to list parents, right? I wish I could list all the children here. It wasn't in one of the choices here, was it? And parent plot is here, but what I'm looking for is subplots. I actually have a lot of interesting things to put in here. They're not really related character or organizationals. It's not going to be backdrops. I'm not worried about that. All right, so the answer is no. There's nothing I can put in here about children, which means we will have to go back to each of those. And we'll do them in order. You're going to get a tag that says the boggards. And under navigation, you're going to get that. So there's scene 1, scene 2. All right, it was only a little bit of time that I disappeared. That's good, I guess. Again, I'm not sure it was entirely me because OBS cut out entirely. Usually that means I had a disconnect courtesy of my internet service provider, which is the other thing that I am changing, by the way. So hopefully that will matter. Okay, it's awfully quiet in here without the music, isn't it? Okay, done that one. Now I should see 2 under the boggards, good. Scene 3. I'll be happy if I can get this set up. The boggards. boggards. Scene 4. Scene 4B. And yeah, I know it might be overkill to use both the tags and the the article relationships, but they serve two purposes. So what do we have left? Just scene 5. Because doing that will now allow me to come over to campaigns, and I can start. This is playgroup 2 is the one that I'm working on first, and now I can bring in a plot. I can add that plot to my campaign. Now I expected it to carry all of the subplots with it. Why did it not? Do I have to do this manually? It should have known to put that in tree form. Why did it not? That brings this up. This is supposed to be a tree. So why isn't it showing under there? This has worked before. To demonstrate that it's worked before, if I go back to my campaign homepage, and pick for example, is it 1 or 3 that has the other stuff in it already? Something appears to have changed here. I am confused. Because this used to work. And I had some of these set up. With a parent-child relationship. And it doesn't seem to be working now. And I don't seem to be able to figure out how to make it work. What am I missing? There's no way to edit this screen. I can't drag and drop. This article knows it's got subplots. In fact, if I view it, it's probably going to tell me I have subplots. No, it doesn't tell me I have. Well, yeah, you see, it knows these are all here. All right, so am I missing something here? Theme type focus, what do we expect? List 10 names, how does the outcome? All right, so we have all of those things. Aha. Is that what I need to be doing here? Let's find out. If I come back in here and go to scene 1, that's interesting. It's not drawing from the it's not drawing apparently the parent-child plot relationship from the article relationship. It's drawing it from here. So once I've done that, I bet now if I go over to campaigns, and I look at Playgroup 2 and I look at plots, there it is. See, now it comes in there as a child. So I can get rid of this because I don't want that there. Ooh, is that going to delete the article? Or is that going to just delete it from my tree? Well, there's not much in it, so let's find out. Okay, it left it there. But did it? Because notice there's no delete on that now. Do I now have something that's limbo? No, there it is. It's still there. Everything is still there. Good. So I didn't kill the article. I just killed it on the plot tree. And now that I know that that's what I have to do, I can Come back in here to all the other ones and say scene 2. And 3. And 4. And 4B. Time to start thinking about who to raid. Anybody want to take a quick look out there and tell me who's up or who's supposed to be up? It's still a little early, so they might not be. I'm not sure if Hefe is... Hefe, I know you stopped in here before. I don't know if you're still out there or not. Are you streaming today? Or I think it's either you or Toblin or both. And I know Kahuna is up, so if there's nobody there, we have a fallback. Okay, Toblin is up. Good. So we at least have that. And that was 4B, right? And let's get the last one in. Can we raid Rome? Burning Rome is good. You don't raid Rome, you sack Rome, right? And the last one is there. And now, if I come back over to campaign plots, we see what I wanted to see, which is all of the subplots lined up very nicely and neatly in pretty order. And now all I need to do is start populating each one of those for a game session that starts in 8 hours. Haha, chuckle, chuckle. All right, so I'm not going to get started doing that now with just a few minutes left to go. How many people do we actually still have here? Let's see. We got a few. I don't know how many of them are really here. I see Scribe is there. Siobhan, I'm sure, is off to bed and just hosting. Hefe is there. Again, he might just be hosting. Hefe, are you out there? Are you alive? Or are you getting ready for a stream? Is Hefe supposed to come up today? Let's check the calendar and see. Yeah, I see Toblin is live. He's live now. Let us consult the trusty calendar. Looks like it's just Toblin today. Okay, that makes it easy. We know who we're raiding. I have a few minutes to go though. Yeah, he's went. Yeah, I know he during. I know during summer camp he was every day, but he wisely took a break from that, I guess. Um, it's work. Uh, okay, so yeah, hard to remember he doesn't stream every day now. All right, so does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any questions about Synergasia, our collaborative effort? Is there anybody out there that is thinking of joining us, just out of curiosity? Um, or at least is thinking of following along and seeing how it comes out? Because it should be an interesting, fun challenge. I envision, or would like to think about envisioning, at some point. I mean, not right away. Certainly, after the various parts of the world start getting like really developed, and there's towns and villages and characters to interact with, and real themes behind each of the areas. Kahuna and I have actually toyed with the idea of developing or actually, um, developing possibly even a set of role-playing game rules so that we could, in some manner, um, actually game in Synergasia. Now, we wouldn't, not that we're turning it into a role-playing environment. Again, anybody who's out there that's using their region for non-gaming creative writing, nothing we do would change the canon of your world. But it just might be a fun opportunity to provide a method where we use your canon in your region and just set up the game rules for hopping from region to region, and what happens to you and what changes, especially when you're changing major time eras. Because we don't want people from the future, suddenly dropping into, Bronze Age Mesopotamia with laser carbines. Um, what would happen to your laser rifle when you jump into, again, Conan land? What'll probably happen is it'll turn into a crossbow in your hands or something like that. Now the question is, how much do you remember? Also, so and I know there's at least one game system out there. There's one in particular that the great GM reviewed within the last 2 months that explicitly deals with a world that has those kind of issues. In their case, it's demon gods have come to Earth and have started to take over little pockets of Earth, and each one of them establishes their own alternate reality, over a piece of Earth. And you as a game player are supposed to be running around trying to get rid of these guys and bring everything back to normal. But you have to deal with the fact that you could be flying in a plane and you enter one of these zones and all of a sudden the plane turns into something else. Um, and if anybody's interested, look up the Great GM. And like I said, it's within the last 2 months. You can find them on YouTube. You can find the review. The first review is only about 10 or 15 minutes long. He's actually done a couple because he's gotten into some of the gameplay and the rules. But catch the overview one. He does a very interesting method, a very interesting take on the game and what he thinks about the concept, as well as the way they handle the time jumps. Because that's what the game is all about, really, is the time jumps. So, so again, we might at some point in the future be prepared to do the same thing for Synergasia. We'll see. But first, it has to get built, and in order for it to get built, you folks all have to help. I see we've got a couple minutes to go. I don't want to raid you over too soon. I know Toblin is pretty punctual, so I'm sure he'll start up like right at the hour top. But I'm not going to subject you to 3 minutes of waiting room music. So instead, I'm going to subject you to 2 more minutes of my voice. Isn't that nice of me? So what are people doing today? Daz, I assume you're still working on your miniatures? I didn't turn off my mic, did I? No, I didn't. Okay. Scribe. Oh, you are actually out there. Okay. Uh, my mic seems to be doing funny things. Is everybody still hearing me? Am I breaking up or doing anything weird? No, it looks like I'm talking. Okay, fine. Scribe, you're working on your pollinator article. Good, good. That is something else I do want to stress, by the way. We are not going to, if you do decide to participate in Synergasia, we are going to make sure that we do not um, interfere, shall we say, with any other official World Anvil projects. So one of the things that Kahuna and I'll have to talk about is once we get to World Ember, do we try to integrate our occasional prompts with what's going on in World Ember, or do we just take December off as far as issuing prompts um, for the Synergasia? So we'll make those decisions, but we're certainly not gonna compete. When summer camp rolls around next year, assuming we're still going strong with Synergasia, I can tell you that during summer camp we will almost certainly take that time off. All right, we're not going to throw yet another prompt on top of everything that summer camp does. We are going to play nice and live nice in the world and in the World Anvil world. World Anvil official stuff comes first. All right, we are something interesting and fun to do if you're bored and in between World Anvil challenges. So Scribe, I'm glad to see you working on the World Anvil Flash Challenge. I know I did myself. I have an article submitted for it. Makaru, finished work earlier. Need a coworker's help for plans. Got an idea of Grey Cliff, which used to be White Cliff, before the cliffs turned gray due to the smoke from the steampunk steamage coal. I know was it you that were saying too? Your spouse was considering doing a Victorian horror setting. Because that also we'd like to have one or two of those in there. They're always fun. And with all that, it looks like it is now 12 o'clock, at least 12 o'clock on the East Coast, which means Toblin should be up and running. And it means I've reached the end of my time. Dazzly Cat threw me a dinosaur a rar to remind me of that. So I would like to thank everybody for coming. Thank everybody for putting up with me. She wants horror, and you want to stay away from that. Well, again, that would be your choice. Even if we put you next door to each other in the world, um, she's not allowed to spill over into your area unless you want her to, and you can't overrun her area unless she wants you to. So that's the big important part. And there's Scribe with the roars. Okay. Yes, we will begin the raid now. /raid. Spell it right, Bob. CD10 Toblin. And again, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for being here. My next stream will be Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That is 2 p.m. Greenwich Mean and 7 a.m. Pacific Time. Everybody else can do their own math. I was hoping to be working on a new machine and doing mapping, but I will almost certainly still be on this old dinosaur, in which case I will be doing some simpler World Anvil stuff so I can make it through a stream. But there's plenty to do no matter what it is. So I will see you all then, I hope. And in the meantime, let us go a raiding. And we will hit the raid in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's do it.